Rakesh, I think you are on mute.
Yeah. Good morning, friends. Thanks once again for joining with us on this Sunday morning. And today we have with us one of our most popular small case manager, Ms. Shonam Srivastav, who is the founder of Wright Research. And as we all know, she's an IT graduate and she has been with small case from very early on. It's been like more than now over 4 years where Sonam has been serving thousands of investors on our platform. And Sonam has over a decade of experience with the best in class organizations where she has developed a lot of trading algorithms for high frequency trading at the likes of HSBC and Edelweiss in the past. Currently, Sonam is also serving a lot of HNI clients on her portfolio management services as a service as well. And with this and over a decade of experience in investment research and portfolio, I think Sonam is the best suited manager on our platform to catch the current trends in the market, what's happening around us. So the idea of today's webinar was to pick her brains on the overall market environment in which we are operating right now. And the timing couldn't have been perfect than this, where we are closing our financial year. And what's her outlook as we start the new financial year on Monday? How one should approach this kind of markets, where one should invest. This and many more questions which we will be delving into today with Sonam. Sonam, welcome to Small Case channel and Small Case webinar.
Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Sonam, just getting into the today's topic, I just thought to break this session into 2 or 3 pieces. One, definitely, we would like to know how the year has gone by for you and your investors and the market in general. And of course, we will get into the new financial year journey as well. What you see as a platform, that how you will be putting your investments, putting your money in the new year. So to start with, let's start with an overview, right, of how the stock markets have performed. What has been stand out, I think, is the performance of Nifty small cap and mid cap. I think that has been the talk of the more than, I think, last 7, 8 months now. It has been like that the entire market has been, I think, overshadowed, or maybe the spotlight was on Nifty small cap and mid cap indices, at least until I think Jan 24. So it would be great, Sonam, if you can give us some sense of investor sentiment and how market caps have changed in the last 1 year. Have things really moved, and have companies or maybe stocks have actually changed their trajectory from small cap to mid cap to large cap? That would be really great if you can just throw some light on that.
No, definitely, Rakesh. So I think it's been an amazing year, right, for both us and our investors, right? And like you said, small and mid caps have had this spectacular rally. So I remember last year till March, we were seeing some correction, and in April, we saw this whole resurgence of small and mid caps. So the stocks that we had in our portfolios before March are very different. And after March, small caps slowly started getting more and more allocation. And towards the end of the last calendar year, we had majority small caps in our portfolio, right? And we've seen some spectacular stocks in our portfolios, from your PSUs like IRFC, Mazgaon, Titagarh, Hudco, etc., to even other stocks like BSE, Suzlon, Cochin Shipyard, Tata Motors, etc., have done extremely well. We've seen various sectors sort of take over. So obviously PSUs have stood out, and like you said, Rakesh, that towards the beginning of this calendar year, there has been some correction, but PSUs definitely have had a standout year. And I keep on telling this joke to our investors, right? That whenever they ask us, what is your allocation right now? So while we started last year with a lot of small and mid caps, they all graduated to large and mid caps in the course, right? So stocks that we had bought with market cap of 5,000 slowly grew. Allocation organically shifted to large caps towards the end of the year. Now, obviously, the markets have changed. There is a volatility that is persistent in the market right now. And what you're seeing right now is the larger stocks are taking over the small and mid cap. So while, last year was amazing for a portfolio like Alpha Prime, which stood out, which got thousands of investors interested, to, our new India, if you look at it, Rakesh, and let me try to share my screen and showcase some of the portfolios as
Sure.
well, right? Yes. So, if you look at Alpha Prime, obviously it had a spectacular run, but if you look at, New India in the last 1 year, you will see that this one actually gave, because, this one started at the beginning of the financial year where Alpha Prime started a little bit later. This one, in fact, gave more than 100% in terms of returns. I think my screen is taking some time to load. Uh, but yeah, I think various of our small cases have a tremendous sort of journey. Our balanced small case has done increasingly well. Our momentum small case has done increasingly well. And obviously, Alpha Prime definitely has stood out. And now we are, seeing this shift happen, right, in the market where small and mid caps are which have grown quite a lot, are seeing a valuation check. I don't think like, I keep on saying there is no gloom and doom, or there is no reason for a big impact in the market, because there is not. But definitely what is there is a check on valuations, right? Stocks that have grown a lot are seeing some corrections. And now we think that portfolios which have more large cap allocation could do better, right?
Yeah. So I've just shared the screen of the New India portfolio, what we were just talking about. If you just
Yes.
want to add a line or two on this.
Yes, Rakesh. So if you scroll down and look at a 1 year
Yes.
1 year window here, you would see that this portfolio has given more than 100% return, and compare that with a multi-cap portfolio, which only has a 39% return, right? So
Sure.
it definitely has had a standout year. If you even look at our Alpha Prime, you would see Alpha Prime has had a tremendous run, right? Where
Yeah.
it grew up to 80-90%, and then we definitely saw a correction, and it's a high risk momentum strategy that we keep on saying. So it will see a resurgence pretty soon. But definitely, it's been a tremendous year for these portfolios and for the stock market. So if you look at sectors right now, Rakesh, I think real estate has stood out in terms of performance. PSUs definitely have stood out. PSU banks have had a tremendous run, but even energy and auto have had a very good year in this financial year, right?
Sure. So just picking this up from where you left, Sonam, on this, especially the small cap, mid cap thing, right? Where we have thousands of investors in Alpha Prime, and I'm sure they all had a good run in this small case, purely, I think, from the day of launch itself. So recently, I read a very interesting article, Sonam, by you, and I think you shared a very deep dive relationship between the float stocks and the market returns, right?
Right.
And when we talk about small caps, the first thing which comes to our mind is the liquidity part of it. That besides the returns, will there be enough liquidity for somebody to sell it and make money? Of course, for retail investors, it doesn't matter much, but at a platform level. So just wanted to understand if you can help us this relationship better, along with how this could have led to the overall market rally in small cap and mid caps, and how this can change in future.
Definitely. So, Rakesh, I think, the phenomena that we're talking about is the growth in the small and mid cap buckets, right? So let's look at this chart. You will see that the smaller stocks definitely have seen a much higher growth, right? And but if you have a look at the valuations, you will see while the large cap valuations are not at their peak, right? Large cap valuations are at a big discount to 2020 or even 2017, but small caps have definitely risen a lot in terms of valuation. And what is to note here, Rakesh, is that the low float stocks, right? Stocks that have very small amount of shares available to the public are the ones which grew the most. So even in the PSU and in the non-PSU category, in the PSU category, the low float small caps have done extremely well, right? And this phenomena where, stocks that have limited liquidity grow the most, this is typically seen when there is a little bit of, this bad word that people keep on calling, Rakesh, which is froth, right? So there is a little bit of froth in the market where, stocks that have limited market cap grow faster. And that is what this chart shows, that stocks that have low float have grown the most. And even in terms of, your corrections, the corrections also happened sharply in these low float stocks. So what that means, Rakesh, is that only this is a very organic check on valuations, right? Valuations grew like anything, right? Look at the end of last calendar year. We were holding stocks like IRFC, BSC, MRPL, etc., which were just hitting circuits and growing like anything. And there has been a check, right, which is leading to this correction. Therefore, the allocations also across our strategies have also moved mostly towards, we have cut allocation in all of these overvalued stocks and moved towards slightly safer zones.
Great. So now moving on, I think it's been a journey, as we all know, 23-24 financial year, and now we get into FY25. Definitely, everybody is super excited that what next and how one should plan their investment journey in this new year. Now, with this in the backdrop and getting to the new financial year conversation, Sonam. Now, as we already discussed, right, with the Nifty Small Cap 100 Index experiencing a staggering almost 75% plus gain, and market mid cap index jumping by almost 60% plus in 24. And we should be very mindful that this, I'm talking about the index. And I'm sure there would be a lot of stocks which would have grown like by 2x, 3x also. But at an index level, these are the kind of staggering numbers we are talking about. What is your outlook? I should not use the word prediction, but what is your outlook for the market trends and the sector performances in the coming financial year? And what sectors will do well and which will not? You just touched upon a bit in the earlier conversation, but it would be great if you can just help us with more, I think, focused conversation around these sectors and the market trends in general in the coming financial year.
Definitely, Rakesh. So, Rakesh, let's look at it objectively, right? Definitely, people are a little bit skeptical about the volatility that happened in March, right? And March, there were various reasons, because of the SEBI warning, because of, mutual funds coming up with the stress tests, and volatility before elections. So there were some reasons for, and obviously tax loss harvesting, right? So there was a rationale behind the correction in March. But if you look objectively at the next year, there are a bunch of very strong positives for India, right? We are all going to see, hopefully, a rate cut happen somewhere this year, right? So if you look at the data coming out from the US Fed, there is a high probability of a rate cut happening as soon as the June meeting, right? And obviously these stats will change. I think Jerome Powell yesterday came and said he's not in a hurry, but obviously a rate cut is coming, and whenever the rate cuts happens, Rakesh, equities have a great time, especially emerging market equities like India tend to get a lot of inflow. So there's a lot of positive from that sense. Inflation is easing across the board, and inflation trends will come and support the market. You will see, the GDP growth rate for India, right? There has been revisions across the world which are saying that the growth is going to be faster, right? Which will be a big boost to the Indian economy. And as we can see, FII flows are coming in, and people, in fact, right now, because we are seeing this pre-election volatility, are expecting a rally after elections also. So there are a lot of positives, definitely. So we do definitely have a positive outlook, but Rakesh, we definitely have a cautiously positive outlook, because there are worries in the market also, right? The rate cuts could get delayed. Inflation could persist in the global market. There's a fear of recession in the global market. There could be, events happening in the Indian economy around the elections that could impact the market. So, we definitely have a positive bias for sure, but it is cautiously positive. Therefore, Rakesh, if you look at our allocations into our portfolios, you would see that, we are not taking any wild bets, even in Alpha Prime, right? Even in Alpha Prime, the names that are there right now are more larger, more stable, from stable sort of sectors and industries. And that seems to be the trend that is forming at the current moment as of now.
Sure. No, this really helps, Sonam. So I think in the entire conversation, what I could see was a common thread, that how the trend is getting shifted now from small caps and mid caps to large caps. I'm not saying it's like getting swayed, but there is a gradual shift
Right.
which
Right.
is happening or getting tilted towards that zone of large caps. And of course, we all know that large caps have been consolidating for a while now. So just wanted to understand now from that perspective, what is your take, especially on the large caps universe and the mega caps and all that, and how you see things coming out of that zone now, going forward?
No, definitely. So, we see a lot of opportunities in the large caps, even in the mid caps, right? We are staying cautious a little bit from the small cap segment, to be honest. In the large cap segment, Rakesh, there's so many industries that will shine in the next year, right? So, the consumption theme definitely will stay strong. The consumer discretionary, like autos, right? They're already showing that return, which is coming up strongly. Along with it, if you look at the market right now, uh, pharma will have a resurgence. Rakesh, we have to note that the interim budget came a couple of months ago, and recently the financial minister has said that they will keep, if the same government is elected, they will keep the same budget going forward, right? Which means that the focus will continue to be on the sectors that they talked about, where I think pharma would have a standout day, and we are bullish on that segment, and we are seeing a lot of stocks coming on from that horizon. In terms of hospitals are having a great time. We definitely expect a resurgence of IT also, Rakesh. It's been a long time coming. I don't, I cannot tell you that tomorrow it happens or the next month it happens, but it will happen in the near future, right? So IT will be a big focus area. Along with it, across the board, Rakesh, so many stocks are standing out, right? So many sectors. So what interesting thing I'm seeing in my allocations as of now, Rakesh, is that while we had a lot of PSUs last year, right now a lot of stocks that are coming up are these MNC companies, which is like a totally shift that has happened. But a lot of interesting names in the MNC segments are sort of shining right now. So definitely there is still a lot of opportunity in the market, and it's great for the market that it is coming on these quality names, right?
Sure. Just you just touched upon this MNC bit, and I had read somewhere that MNC have their counterparts in their headquarters, be it US or European nations and all that, and the
Mm.
valuations are like very, very rich when it comes to their Indian subsidiaries. How you reconcile with that fact? Like the valuations are as like high as like 3x, 4x when it comes to their Indian counterparts
Right.
compared to their parent valuations.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, Rakesh. I think people definitely, why are the Indian counterparts valued highly is because people expect the growth to come out of India. That is why the prices are rising. But if you compare the MNC valuations against the PSUs or the larger market valuations, you will see that they have not yet, broken that barrier, right? They are not at a, warning level, right? They are at a very, very stable sort of a level. And I think those valuations are going to hold up, given that we expect, FIIs are still pumping in money into the market, and money will come in more after the elections also. So I think we are quite we have a very stable outlook about the current MNC valuations. We definitely think that in the private sector also, there are a number of names, especially from the auto segment, pharma segment, which will stand out. And eventually, I think even IT will have a good time. We expect, PSUs and the focus sectors like railway, defense, logistics, roads, etc., to also, come back up after the elections are over.
Got it.
Hmm.
Okay, so now that we have already discussed your outlook on large caps, I see that you have launched a new small case, Sonam, around the large cap theme. So
Yes.
would be great if you can just showcase the Wright Titan which you have recently launched, and maybe profile that small case, and who should invest in that small case, what kind of investors should look at that small case, and what should be their expectations, so that there is an alignment with the expectations as well in terms of their requirements and all that. So it would be great if you can just take a deep dive on that particular small case Titans.
Definitely, Rakesh. I think launching a small case is a amazing thing, right? I remember we launched the Alpha Prime small case last year, right? Which did have a lot of smaller stocks when it started, and it saw that rally where it was compounding more than 10% most of the months and had an amazing time. Right now, we have seen this allocation shift happening towards large cap that we discussed. And Rakesh, we get a lot of requests from our clients that can we have a portfolio that is only large caps, right? Which is why we have launched this Wright Titan. Now, talking about Wright Titan, you would see from the logo here that it is mostly it's a stable, it's like a constant sort of a portfolio, which will have a stable return profile, right? It will not have, it's not alpha prime, but it will have a very stable sort of a return profile. Look at the recent chart for it, right? These are backtested results, but look at the 1 year chart. You will see it's stably rising, and in any times of market correction, it hasn't seen any sharper sort of downturns, and it has had a very, very stable return profile. This portfolio, Rakesh, is definitely it has some flavor of momentum, but the bigger focus in this portfolio, Rakesh, is on the risk and the quality metrics, right? So these are high quality large caps that you can just large and mid caps, in fact, that you can buy and hold for the longer term, right? These are very, very stable stocks that will, I think, persist across any volatile scenario that comes in the market, and in any sort of bullish rally also, it will have a very, very stable risk profile. So, while Alpha Prime is your high risk allocation in your portfolio, Wright Titan can in fact be that constant core portfolio that is there for the longer term, right? Which can have a bigger chunk of your allocations. So yeah, definitely, I think Wright Titan has come at a right time, right? I think in the current market, there is a bias that is coming towards large caps, and large caps definitely should be a big chunk of people's portfolios, and which is what Wright Titan provides. And because it's a launch offer, we are also offering a discount code for people who are looking to allocate to this strategy. And yeah, I think it would be a great allocation for people to bring into their portfolios. It will might not give you the wild ride that Alpha Prime provides, but it will give you a very, very stable good sleep by having this in your portfolio.
Sure. So now that we already have now one small case which now caters to large cap, I think with this more or less the entire universe of stocks get covered as far as the right strategies are concerned. So just for a lot of investors who have still not invested with Wright Research as a house, it would be great if you can share some light on the rigorous selection process for the stocks in the right portfolios, and what specific criteria or benchmark do these companies, irrespective of which strategy, and of course in large cap companies especially, meet to ensure that they both offer stability and growth potential?
Definitely. So, see, Wright Research is always quant based, right? Rakesh, we are looking at these quantitative metrics, and it's we definitely have these momentum portfolios that have done the best, right? So if you look at our alpha strategy, our right momentum, these are momentum baskets that have done increasingly well. So I am happy to say that Wright Research does well on momentum. But what we really realize, Rakesh, is that momentum is not the one answer to the market, right? Momentum is a very strong strategy, but there will be times when momentum does not work. And, let's be humble enough to say that the market is wild, very wide and dynamic, and there is no one answer to it. So, sometimes you will see quality taking over momentum. Sometimes you will see value taking over momentum. And that is what, we realize very deeply at Wright Research. So Rakesh, like many of the investors who are starting new in the market, when I started in the market, I also used to love momentum, right? We would do momentum investing aggressively, and we thought momentum would never stop. When in one fine day momentum stopped, and we had to start looking at the other factors, right? So so that has been the journey of inception of Wright Research, that we realized that, okay, definitely there are these certain strategies that will do strongest, but we also realize that there will be other strategies that will have their time in the sun. So therefore, we have a multi-factor approach. We don't just look at one factor. We try to identify as many factors as we can in the market and try to get the best out of these factors for our investors. And I think Wright Titan is a step in the right direction, that, there are people in the market who are looking at larger cap allocation, much more stable portfolios, maybe more quality names. And that is where, Wright Titan also comes in. Even across the board in all our strategies, Rakesh, we have a very rigorous, systematic process, right? So, we are also looking at quality, we are also looking at momentum, we are also looking at fundamentals and technicals, but we do it systematically. We put everything into a system. It's a very enhanced and advanced sort of a system where we are taking care of risk management along with the return expectations. We are looking at the market holistically, doing a lot of risk checks, doing a check on allocation to different sectors, right? Creating a diversified basket and having all the checks and balances in place, which will help us reduce the risk when there are times of risk, and also take the opportunities head on when there is opportunity in the market, right? So
Sure.
that's there across the board in our portfolios.
So there's this one interesting take somebody has, is that in momentum, there is a very important role of liquidity as well, that at the right time or at a suitable time, you get into liquidity as well. Can that Titan be that place to hide instead of getting liquid, say from alpha prime or some very high risk strategies, where if at all they want to park some cash, can the large cap be that hiding space as far as the liquidity is concerned, to get that extra thing, or it should be pure a liquid call kind of thing?
No, definitely. I think Wright Titan definitely is a highly liquid small case, right? You will see very, very large stocks in this, right? So it's a good hiding place for sure. But Rakesh, what I would like to tell you here is that, let's look at Alpha Prime also. And if we look at the stocks and weights, right, you will see uh, that it has a lot of larger stocks. Like Alpha Prime is mostly large caps also right now, right? So I'm sure that, if the stress test actually come to fruition and there is a lot of volatility and, time to sell these small caps, none of our small cases have this liquidity problem right now, right? We are actually highly allocated towards large and mid caps right now. We are not going to see a liquidity constraint in any of our portfolios. I think that is the benefit that small cases have, right? Rakesh, that because these are much more active strategies. We are not like mutual funds that rebalance once a quarter and have a passive outlook. We have a active strategy, so we are quicker to respond, and we have done those checks and balances already. So across the board in our strategy, there is a high majority of larger and mid cap stocks. And I don't think we are going to see a liquidity constraint, but definitely if you want to escape that fear of liquidity and fear of smaller stocks going through a volatile phase, I think Wright Titan definitely is a great place to hide.
Sure. So, Sonam, maybe in this part of the session, I will just like to pick up a lot of questions which have already come on our YouTube live. And the first question which I want to pick up is something which will set the tone for the other answers as well. So we have Mr. Anirudh Kumar, और अनिरुद्ध कुमार का क्वेश्चन जिस भाषा में पूछा है मैं वही भाषा में भी पूछ लेता हूँ. सो अनिरुद्ध कुमार जी रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं सोनम जी, इफ अगर आप हिंदी में कुछ बोल सकते हैं तो उन्हें भी थोड़ी आसानी होगी समझने में, और maybe we can cover the questions in Hindi and English so that थोड़ा perspective मिल जाएगा अनिरुद्ध जी को भी. So from that, I will take the next question. Though I can ask the questions in English because that is the way it is written, but you can always keep it to Hindi, English, whatever works. So we have tried to bucketize questions into strategy wise as well, wherever possible. And because we have a lot of investors, बहुत सारे investors हैं हमारे Alpha Prime में, तो there are a lot of questions on Alpha Prime as well. So pehla question we have from Kranti ji. Kranti ji is asking, in Alpha Prime small case, you recently balanced for liquidity by investing in liquid case. What would be your strategy in future for such scenario?
तो यहाँ पे क्रांति जी, आपने बिल्कुल सही बोला कि हमने लिक्विड केस में एलोकेशन किया है, क्योंकि हमारी स्ट्रैटेजी से एक कैश कॉल आई थी, थोड़ा करेक्शन हुआ था स्ट्रैटेजी में, तो हमें लगा थोड़ा रिस्क कम करना चाहिए। और इस टाइम पे अगर आप एलोकेशन देखेंगे तो हमारा पीएसयू सेगमेंट पे काफी कम एलोकेशन जा चुका है, और लिक्विडिटी का कोई भी फियर नहीं है हमारे स्मॉल केस में इस टाइम पे। और एक रीबैलेंस कल भी आएगा, महीने का की शुरुआत है कल, तो आपके पास एक रीबैलेंस पहुंचेगा जहां पे आपको और भी नए नाम दिखेंगे, थोड़े स्टेबल स्टॉक्स जो इस पोर्टफोलियो में आएंगे। और बिल्कुल देखिए, ये जो हमने जो स्ट्रैटेजीज बनाई हैं, ये ऑब्वियसली एक डेवलपिंग स्ट्रैटेजीज हैं। हम भी धीरे धीरे मार्केट के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, समझ रहे हैं। तो जैसे राकेश, हमने देखा था कि पीएसयू स्टॉक्स ज्यादा बढ़ गए थे हमारे अल्फा प्राइम में, और जिस वजह से अल्फा प्राइम में थोड़ा शार्प करेक्शन आया था, क्योंकि पीएसयू स्टॉक में एक साथ करेक्शन आया। तो हमें रियलाइज हुआ कि हम अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी में जहाँ स्मॉल एंड मिड कैप पे एक लिमिट लगाते हैं, जहाँ पे हम सेक्टर पे लिमिट लगाते हैं, जहाँ पे हम स्टॉक पे लिमिट लगाते हैं, हम पीएसयू सेगमेंट पे लिमिट नहीं लगाते थे। तो हमने जनवरी फरवरी में एक रिसर्च की कि भाई अगर हम पीएसयू सेगमेंट पे भी लिमिट लगा दें तो क्या होगा। और हमें दिखा कि भाई पीएसयू सेगमेंट पे लिमिट लगाने से हमारी स्ट्रैटेजी का रिस्क कम हो जाएगा और रिटर्न्स पे कोई ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा। तो हमने एक लिमिट लगा दिया पीएसयू सेगमेंट पे, और धीरे धीरे वो एलोकेशन कम हो गया। तो इस टाइम पे कोई लिक्विडिटी का यहाँ पे कोई कंसर्न है नहीं। रिटर्न्स अच्छे आ रहे हैं, पिछले एक दो हफ्ते में आप देखें तो अच्छी रिकवरी भी मिल रही है। और हम सोचेंगे कि बहुत ही जल्द ये स्मॉल केस अपनी रिकवरी वापस कर लेगा।
एक दूसरे इन्वेस्टर से जिनका आईडी है नॉट श्राउ, उनके दो तीन कमेंट्स थे। तो ही इज ऑलरेडी अ इन्वेस्टर इन अल्फा प्राइम। सो वन, डेफिनेटली आई थिंक आपने ऑलरेडी टच कर दिया है, व्हाट इज द स्ट्रैटेजी बिहाइंड स्टॉक सिलेक्शन इन जनरल इन अल्फा प्राइम एज वेल। दूसरा उनका कमेंट ये था दैट व्हाट was the reason behind removing good stocks and adding liquid case? Why avoid volatility? I think the main question what he's trying to say, and maybe his investor persona is a very high risk persona. So he's asking, he or she is asking, why avoid volatility in alpha prime if it is for high risk investors?
बिल्कुल देखिए, यहाँ पे मुझे लगता है कि जो वॉलेटिलिटी है, राइट, ये इसका शार्प इम्पैक्ट आता है जब आपके पोर्टफोलियो में कम स्टॉक होते हैं। इसीलिए हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में एक रूल है जिसको हम कहते हैं डी एलोकेशन पॉलिसी। अगर 2 हफ्ते में ये पोर्टफोलियो 5 से 10% करेक्ट हो रहा है, मतलब कुछ बड़ा इवेंट आया है और हमको थोड़ा सेफर जोन में हो जाते हैं, हम थोड़ा कैश यहाँ पे एलोकेट कर देते हैं। और यहाँ पे जैसे मैंने बोला कि पिछले एक दो हफ्ते में अच्छी रिटर्न रिकवरी हो रही है राकेश, बट वॉलेटिलिटी खत्म नहीं हुई है, राइट। वॉलेटिलिटी, इलेक्शन का सीजन आने वाला है, यूएस इलेक्शन का सीजन आने वाला है, बहुत सारे इवेंट्स हो रहे हैं मार्केट में, तो हमें ये पता नहीं है कि भाई वॉलेटिलिटी खत्म हो चुकी है कि नहीं। इस वजह से हमारी स्ट्रैटेजी में एक कैश का कॉल आया था जिसको हमने कैश में मूव किया। धीरे धीरे वो कैश खत्म होता है या फिर एलोकेशन होता है, वो तो हम स्ट्रैटेजी के साथ देखेंगे। बट मेरे ख्याल से ये अच्छी स्ट्रैटेजी है कि जब मार्केट में ज्यादा रिस्क दिख रहा हो तो हम रिस्क का थोड़ा कट कर लें, एक लिक्विड ईटीएफ में मूव करके, और वही हमने किया था। बट धीरे धीरे आई थिंक जैसे जैसे रिकवरी आएगी वैसे वैसे यहाँ पे एलोकेशन भी बढ़ता जाएगा।
Sure. On this allocation point, Kailash Dhaleji has a different question and very specific for his investments. मैं आपका अल्फा प्राइम सब्सक्राइब किया है और मुझे 10 लाख से ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट करना है, वो कैसे करें? और टाइटन सब्सक्राइब करना चाहिए क्या?
बिल्कुल, तो देखिए, आपको किस पोर्टफोलियो में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए ये आपके रिस्क प्रोफाइल का एक फंक्शन होता है। अगर आप चाहते हैं कि भाई मुझे एक स्टेबल सा एलोकेशन दो, मुझे 20 से 25% ग्रोथ चाहिए, उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं चाहिए, तो भाई बिल्कुल आप लार्ज कैप में डाल दीजिए, आपको अच्छा रिटर्न मिलेगा। जैसे हमने बोला, हमारा जो टाइटन पोर्टफोलियो है, ये हिस्टोरिकली भी अगर हमने जो बैक टेस्ट किया है उससे भी दिखता है कि भाई वो इंडेक्स को तो अच्छे से आउट परफॉर्म कर रहा है, प्लस बहुत ही स्टेबल रिटर्न्स आ रहे हैं। तो बिल्कुल आप वहां पे इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। बट अगर आप चाहते हैं कि मुझे एक फ्लेवर चाहिए हाई रिस्क का, जहाँ पे मुझे शार्प रिटर्न चाहिए मार्केट से, जब मार्केट अच्छा कर रहा हो, तो अल्फा प्राइम बिल्कुल एक अच्छी स्ट्रैटेजी है उसके लिए। और जैसे हमने पिछले साल में देखा, शार्प ग्रोथ आती है, तो वहां पे आप एलोकेशन रख सकते हैं। तो जो भी आपका एलोकेशन है जिसपे आप थोड़ा हाई रिस्क लेना चाहते हैं, वहां पे अल्फा कर सकते हैं। स्टेबल एलोकेशन के लिए राइट टाइटन है। और अल्फा के साथ आप जरूर जब भी इन्वेस्ट करें तो शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए ना करें। तो जैसे मुझे राकेश, कुछ लोगों ने बोला था कि भाई मैंने तो फरवरी की पीक में इन्वेस्ट कर दिया सारा पैसा अल्फा में कि शॉर्ट टर्म में उसमें रिटर्न बनानी है। देखिए, बिल्कुल ये अच्छा प्लान नहीं है। अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करेंगे ऐसी स्ट्रैटेजी में, तो मैं बिल्कुल कहूंगी कि भाई आपने अगर 3 से 5 साल में इन्वेस्ट किया, आपको बहुत ही अच्छी रिटर्न मिल सकती है। जैसे इसकी फिलॉसफी है, हाई मोमेंटम, कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड, आपको लॉन्ग टर्म में बहुत अच्छा CAGR मिल जाएगा। बट शॉर्ट टर्म में अगर आप बहुत ही स्मॉल होराइजन लेके देख रहे हैं, तो इक्विटी मार्केट में जो रिस्क है वो शॉर्ट टर्म में ही आता है। और शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए आप इसके साथ प्लान ना करें, आप हमेशा एक लॉन्ग टर्म होराइजन रख के इन पोर्टफोलियो के साथ चलें।
गॉट इट। ओके, सो अभी मैं कुछ थोड़े टाइटन स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस भी लेना चाहूंगा। सो फाइनेंस गुरु विद हिज आईडी इज आस्किंग, कैन यू शेड सम लाइट ऑन द न्यू राइट टाइटन पोर्टफोलियो? इफ आई हैव अ अल्फा इन बैलेंस, इज
हम्म।
लार्ज कैप सफिशिएंट, डिवर्सिफिकेशन सफिशिएंट? एंड इसी से मिलता जुलता और एक क्वेश्चन है जहाँ somebody is asking if you can help us with the flavor of the right titan in terms of sectors or themes, what constitute that portfolio?
बिल्कुल। तो राइट टाइटन, जैसे हमने बोला है कि टाइटन का नाम ही मतलब है कि भाई ये टाइटन्स ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री हैं, ये बड़े बड़े स्टॉक्स हैं। और जिसमें एक स्टेबल आउटलुक है। यहाँ पे भी हमारा थोड़ा सा मोमेंटम पे एलोकेशन है। बट जैसे मैंने राकेश आपको बताया, यहाँ पे ज्यादा फोकस है स्टेबिलिटी और क्वालिटी के ऊपर। राइट। और स्टेबिलिटी और क्वालिटी के ऊपर आपको काफी काफी ऐसे बड़े नाम दिखेंगे जिसकी स्टेबल रिटर्न होके आती है। यहाँ पे भी काफी अभी इस टाइम पे MNC एलोकेशन है, बहुत सारी इंटरेस्टिंग प्राइवेट सेक्टर कंपनीज हैं। अगर आप यहाँ का एलोकेशन देखेंगे तो आपको दिखेगा फार्मास्यूटिकल सेक्टर में हमारा अच्छा खासा एलोकेशन है। उसके अलावा बहुत सारा एलोकेशन हमारा यहाँ पे भी है आपका इलेक्ट्रिकल इक्विपमेंट और थोड़ा कंस्ट्रक्शन रिलेटेड सेक्टर्स में, बट बड़े नामों पे। इसके अलावा ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर पे भी कुछ फोकस है, ऑटो एंसिलरीज भी हैं हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में। बहुत सारे हमारे पास वो स्टेबल, क्योंकि एक स्टेबल पोर्टफोलियो है तो आप वो देखेंगे जो बड़ी कंज्यूमर कंपनियां होती हैं उन पे भी अच्छा खासा एलोकेशन है इस पोर्टफोलियो पे। और अगर मैं आपको और कुछ कुछ ये आपके हमारे पास E कॉमर्स के भी स्टॉक हैं यहाँ पे। तो एक बहुत ही अच्छा मिक्स्ड एलोकेशन है, जो आप देखेंगे कि वॉलेटाइल टाइम से भी काफी स्टेबल रहता है। कंज्यूमर सेक्टर का नाम ले लिया, लार्जेस्ट स्टॉक का नाम ले लिया, ये अब जब भी आपको मार्केट में वॉलेटिलिटी दिखती है, तो आप देखते हैं कि भाई लोग कंज्यूमर सेक्टर में बाई करना चालू कर देते हैं, क्योंकि वो तो स्टेबल रहेगा ही। तो इस हिसाब से काफी अच्छा एलोकेशन है। और जैसे मैंने बोला कि यहाँ पे हम बिल्कुल हमारी यूनिवर्स छोटी है, यूनिवर्स 200 स्टॉक की है। यहाँ पे हम मोमेंटम पे फोकस तो दे रहे हैं, बट उसके साथ के साथ हम क्वालिटी और जो लो वॉलेटिलिटी टाइप के एलोकेशन उस पर भी ज्यादा फोकस दे रहे हैं। और एक बहुत ही अच्छी स्ट्रैटेजी बन के आई है, जहाँ पे मैंने आपको एक बैक टेस्ट का चार्ट दिखाया था। अगर आप 5 साल का बैक टेस्ट देखेंगे तो आपको दिखेगा कि भाई बहुत ही स्टेबल सा हमारे पास एलोकेशन है, जहाँ पे चाहे जो भी रिस्क सिनेरियो आया है, ये स्ट्रैटेजी ने एक स्टेबल सा रिटर्न ला के दिया है।
Got it. Vaibhav is asking more of a suggestion. He's asking that what should be the average portfolio size you should prefer for Titan, and as the cost fees are nullified in terms of actual P&L. So just Vaibhav ji, for your information, the fees are 5,000 for 6 months. So that makes it 10,000 a year. But of course, there is a promo code right now, which Sonam has already shared. But based on that, if Sonam, if you can just help us the ideal portfolio size, not maybe somebody has to start with that immediate, but over a period of time, what should be a typical portfolio size based on the overall context of the small case?
Yes, Rakesh. So Rakesh, this portfolio is definitely a core portfolio. It's a very stable portfolio. So you can put in any amount of equity allocation that you want to put in this strategy. अगर आप हाई रिस्क इन्वेस्टर हैं, लो रिस्क इन्वेस्टर हैं, आपके पास ये स्ट्रैटेजी का आप अच्छा खासा एलोकेशन डाल सकते हैं। तो मैं कहूंगी कि आपके पोर्टफोलियो का अच्छा चंक इस स्ट्रैटेजी में जा सकता है। अगर आप चाहें तो देखिए, इसका प्राइस तो राकेश ने बताया 5,000 फॉर 6 मंथ। उस पर हम अभी 30% डिस्काउंट भी ऑफर कर रहे हैं, जिसका प्रोमो कोड चैट पे पिन किया हुआ है। तो इस पे एक आइडियल साइज मेरे ख्याल से 3 to 5 लाख से चालू करें, और उसके ऊपर आप ज्यादा एलोकेशन भी कर सकते हैं। बहुत ही लिक्विड स्टॉक है, तो लिक्विडिटी का कोई कंसर्न ही नहीं है यहाँ पे। और धीरे धीरे आप इसको बिल्ड करते रहें और आपको एक स्टेबल कोर आपका यहाँ पे मिल जाएगा।
Sure. It's Azadi handle is asking, Hi Sonam, I have subscribed to your Right Momentum small case and I have 5 lakhs rupees to allocate. Should I add this to Alpha Prime and Wright Titan or anyone, whatever? If you can just share some light on that.
No, see, I think all the portfolio that you're seeing on your screen are our babies. We love all of these portfolios. So I think these are all great portfolios to allocate. आप मोमेंटम का भी देखेंगे, पिछले 3 साल से ज्यादा में इसने बहुत अच्छी रिटर्न दी है। हर मार्केट सिनेरियो पे इसने आउट परफॉर्म किया है। अल्फा प्राइम पिछले साल में, पिछले 9 महीने में आया है, जिसने एक अगेन इन्वेस्टर्स की इमेजिनेशन कैप्चर करी है। उसके अलावा आप हमारा बैलेंस पोर्टफोलियो देखें, जो हमारा पहला पोर्टफोलियो था, वहां पे भी हमने 5 साल में बहुत अच्छी रिटर्न्स ला के दी हैं। और अब राइट टाइटन जो नया आया है, जिसमें एक थोड़ा स्टेबल आउटलुक है, तो वो इन्वेस्टर्स जो स्टॉक मार्केट की वॉलेटिलिटी अवॉइड करना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए एक बहुत अच्छा एलोकेशन होगा। तो अगर आप अभी इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, आप मोमेंटम में भी ऐड कर सकते हैं। हमें, जैसे मैंने बोला कि वी आर वेरी अवेयर ऑफ द सिचुएशन इन द मार्केट। हमने स्मॉल कैप एक्सपोजर कट किया है, हमने सेफ्टी की तरफ थोड़ा एलोकेशन किया है, हम रिस्क मैनेज कर रहे हैं, और इस टाइम पे हम अपने एलोकेशन से कॉन्फिडेंट हैं। तो अगर मार्च जैसी सिचुएशन वापस आती है अप्रैल में, फिर भी हमें लगता है कि भाई हमारे एलोकेशन तो काफी स्टेबल रहेंगे और हमें किसी भी तरह का डाउट नहीं है। और अगर रिस्क बढ़ता है तो हमारे पास रिस्क मैनेजमेंट की सारी स्ट्रैटेजी हैं जिससे हम ये रिस्क मैनेज करेंगे। तो बिल्कुल आप यहाँ पे मोमेंटम पे भी एलोकेट कर सकते हैं। अगर आपको लगता है कि भाई मुझे एक हाई रिस्क हाई रिटर्न की स्ट्रैटेजी में एलोकेट करना है, तो अल्फा प्राइम का वैल्यूएशन अभी कट हुआ है, तो जरूर यहाँ पे भी आप एलोकेशन कर सकते हैं, बट एक लॉन्गर टाइम होराइजन रखिए। इस टाइम पे अगर आप मोमेंटम स्ट्रैटेजी पे इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है पेशेंस रखना और एक लॉन्गर टर्म होराइजन रखना। तो वो आप कर सकते हैं। और अगर आपको लगता है कि भाई मुझे स्टेबल ही एलोकेशन चाहिए, तो राइट टाइटन आपका यहाँ पे अच्छा एलोकेशन हो सकता है।
Sure. This is one for the small case team. So Kunal, question is, and I will answer that question. I'm a right momentum investor. My question is slightly away from the topic, but it's critical for my investment journey. Since last two rebalancing, I'm not getting any prompt updates and I lose the gain. Please look into it. So Mr. Kunal, it would be great if you can just share your details and your concern on email ID publisher.help@smallcase.com. And I'm sure the team will look into it and they will get back to you as early as possible. So please do that. That will help us to get the details and do some deep diving as to why there is a problem. Okay. So Sonam, you can choose to answer some questions in English and Hindi, because the moment we went on the other extreme of Hindi, they suddenly started coming English, please. So we'll keep it that way. Not a problem. Okay, so Ravi Rajput has this interesting question that does high AUM size affect your decision making to move to cash equivalent in the difficult time?
नहीं, बिल्कुल। आई थिंक कैश डेफिनेटली, मूविंग टू कैश विल बी अ चैलेंज, एंड देयरफॉर ऑल ऑफ दीज म्यूचुअल फंड्स आर कमिंग अप विद द स्ट्रेस टेस्ट, राइट? दे थिंक दे आर इन्फॉर्मिंग द पीपल हाउ क्विकली दे कैन मूव टू कैश और liquidate, right? And so that is a concern, but I think that concern, Rakesh, comes with a much larger size than ours, right? So our size right now, I don't see any concern until unless we have some very illiquid stock, right, which is very difficult to get out of, which fortunately we don't have. But see, with high AUM size, definitely that constraint comes in, which we did not see that impact right now. And we definitely have that intelligence built in our system that adaptive to the AUM size, we will look at how much allocation we can put into any small and medium stock, so that it doesn't go and impact the market, right? So we take that extremely seriously, and right now definitely I don't have that concern. I hope, Rakesh, that in our small cases very soon we have to worry a lot about liquidity when you have a lot of AUM, but right
Yes.
now we don't have that concern.
I think I think Ravi Rajput had one thing more, but I think you have already answered that. Ravi is asking, is it okay to invest lump sum in Alpha Prime in 12 months equal? And there were some more questions on Alpha Prime, whether it's the right time to invest, which you have already answered that yes, because the valuations have gone down and bit comfortable zone. Definitely one can look forward to invest in Alpha Prime as well. And I think SIP is always a good approach to invest in these strategies, unless Sonam, you have something more to add on that.
Well, definitely, I think it's a good time, but I would just add here, Rakesh, ki have a long-term stable, a long-term and a patient outlook, right? Because I cannot, none of us can come and say कि भाई volatility खत्म हो गई है, अब तो बढ़ने चालू हो जाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं है. देखिए, वॉलिटिलिटी रह सकती है मार्केट में, और अगर आप पेशेंट रहेंगे इस स्ट्रैटेजी में, तो आप एक दिन में देखेंगे कि भाई वापस रिसर्जेंस आ गई है और मुझे बहुत अच्छी रिटर्न्स मिलने लग गई हैं, और मैं पहले से एलोकेटेड था इन स्टॉक्स पे, तो मुझे एक बहुत शार्प रिटर्न मिल रही है. तो एक पेशेंस रखें और एक लॉन्ग टर्म आउटलुक रखें.
Got it. Okay, now this is for one of your very old small case, which is balanced factor small case. So there are some old time investors who are asking some questions. So there is Mr. Kunal Shah who is asking, will Wright balance multifactorial rebalance into large caps as well? Most people would hope that it does. I have Wright momentum and balance multifactorial. So should I still go for Wright Titan?
नहीं, राइट बैलेंस्ड अगर आप देखें, इफ यू लुक एट इट राइट नाउ, it does have a lot of large caps right now also, but it is a flexi cap strategy, right? So it will, let's say, whenever the rally happens, it will maybe add more small caps in the future sometime. Right now it definitely has a lot of large caps, so I will not say कि अगर आप short term के लिए large cap में जाना चाहते हैं तो आपको बैलेंस से टाइटन स्विच करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको बैलेंस में भी लार्ज कैप मिल ही रहे हैं. बट बैलेंस में ये बात है कि भाई जब अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी तो वो स्मॉल कैप में भी शिफ्ट होगा, बट राइट टाइटन नहीं हो. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि आई वांट अ लार्ज कैप एलोकेशन, देन राइट टाइटन इज द वे टू गो. इफ यू थिंक दैट फ्लेक्सी कैप एलोकेशन इज बेटर, राइट, दैट आई कैन कीप ऑन शिफ्टिंग बिटवीन large and mid cap, then balance would have a better sort of a time for you.
Yeah, that answers the next question also of SimSol, that how is Titan 30 different from balanced multifactor? So as Sonam rightly mentioned right now, that currently you may feel that there are a lot of large caps in balanced multifactor, but balanced multifactor has all the freedom and options to go all out into any market cap segment versus Titan, which will stick to its mandate, which is large caps only. So if you want large caps in the long run, definitely Titan 30 is the place to go. Okay. Aniket is asking again a very similar question which we had got earlier, but yeah, let's take Aniket's question because he's a very new investor to small case. Do we need to start with 40K? Okay, I have roughly 1 lakh rupees. Can I start with 40K with Alpha Prime and 60K with Titan and leave it, or we keep investing further time to time to improve our return? What should be our strategy?
See, definitely, Aniket, you are a new investor, right? So you can start with this amount, and I think this is a very good allocation, 60% in the stable allocation, 40% in Alpha Prime for the longer term high returns. But you definitely have to keep on adding, right? So you definitely have to have that habit of investing, right? Some amount of your money into the market, and these portfolios are a great way for you to allocate. I think in the long term, these are the portfolios that will give you great returns in the future. So definitely you should keep on adding to it, and start small, but have an outlook that you will keep on building up that portfolio. And that is when I think the expense ratio will also make sense if you are actually adding to these portfolios, right?
Okay, this is a very interesting one. The handle itself is very interesting. So there is a question from a bank bencher. So usually backbenchers never ask question, but the ID itself says that he or she is a backbencher. So two questions. One, I have 15 lakhs in my hand and I want to invest through small case. What should be my strategy? And I'm new to market and want to invest 10 lakhs. can you please recommend any small case and strategy to invest? So I believe we have already discussed this, but if there is any specific thing which you want to share with the bank venture.
Right. So see, if this is all your equity allocation, then I would say that keep certain portion of it into the stable segment. So Wright Titan is a great way for you to go to the stable zone, right? Which could be a higher allocation. Let's be honest, Rakesh, that the stable allocation have to be the larger portion of your allocation, and that is where going to a Titan or a balance would make sense. And on top of it, you should definitely add exposure to momentum investing. That will give you that resurgence whenever there is the rally that comes back into the market, right? So definitely split your 50 lakh across a few of the small cases, maybe two or three. Give a higher chunk to the stable one, add a flavor of alpha and momentum to it. If you're looking at thematics, then we have our new India and innovation that you can also go and look at.
Okay. Okay, this one is a bit macro question from 1 second. I just missed that. Yes, Ravi Rajput again. So this year, when Japan is going to sell bulk of its treasury, they're going to be huge. Will there be going to be a huge FI withdrawals? Any thoughts on that?
So see, I think Japan market is going through a very interesting time. You can see Japan right now is the best performing index across all the indices in the last 1 year. And it's a big economy. It will definitely have an impact on the overall global market, right? So we definitely have to be careful about it. But then, on the macro level, there are more important things that are coming, right? So, to give you a sense, the US Fed is coming up with the rate cuts, right? And we wrote about it in our recent blog that US Fed right now, is going to come up. If you look at the expectations, there is going to be a rate cut that might come up in the June quarter. Along with it, if you're looking at FII flows, right, you will see that FIIs have been pumping in money in the market in this year also. And I think post-election also, typically we have seen that FIIs pump in a lot of money, which did not happen in the last year, but there's an expectation of resurgence of the stock market after the elections also. So that could also come into play. So while definitely Japan would have an impact, but I think there are a bigger sort of a macro picture that we have to look at.
Got it.
Mm.
Just 1 second. Okay. So this is more of a comment from the handle Adani. I think you should update Alpha Prime on a need basis instead of a weekly basis.
Yes.
So if you have anything to add here.
We definitely see it is a need basis thing only. We just keep a weekly horizon there because so that people expect that the rebalance could come in any of the weeks. If you look at our previous rebalances, you would see typically we have only rebalanced 1 or 2 weeks in a month. But in the last month, definitely there have been rebalances that have come out more frequently because of the volatility that has been there in the market. But yes, obviously in the future, we will be rebalancing it on a need basis only.
Yes. Kalpesh is asking this very specific to Titan. What kind of return expectation can we have from Titan in terms of like how much alpha over and above Nifty can we expect, or what is your approach towards that?
Yeah, I think Titan has a long-term expectations of between 25 to 30% returns, and it will be very stable sort of a return. Nifty, on the other hand, only has a 15 odd percent expectation. So you be definitely will expect an alpha from this strategy. And we've spent a lot of time in designing it such that it does give you a good appreciation over the large cap index, but it also has a lower risk profile, right? So that is what you will see from this strategy, that it will have a greater return than the large cap index. See, large cap index is the benchmark, right? So we are not comparing it with anything else, but you will see that the returns will also be quite stable with this strategy. And that is what this represents. These are the titans of the industry. These are the largest cap stocks. If you look at the sign also, it is an infinity sign, which means that it's a constant strategy that can always be there in your portfolio.
Rachit has this comment, and maybe I can answer or you can answer, Sonam. So Rachit is asking, why is Wright Titan classified as high volatility on small case if we are expecting it to be relatively stable? So Rachit, from small case side, just wanted to share that these labels are purely data backed. So depending on the constituents of the current portfolio, these labels are defined. So of course, based on the future trajectory of these stocks, the labels will keep on getting updated automatically. So the journey has just started. And as it's a 100% equity portfolio, it starts with high volatility, but based on the performance or the volatility of the portfolio going forward, the labels definitely will get updated on a time-to-time basis. Sonam, if you can just add on that.
No, definitely, Rakesh, like you said, that see, it's been there only for a week. I think small case is looking at the 1 week worth of volatility to rate it.
Yes.
But I think with time, these labels will definitely change.
Yeah. Okay. Siva Fani Kumar Kothuri is asking, and I'll add to this question as well. And Sonam, you can add later. So why the Titan small case is charging more than the momentum as it focuses only on large cap? So Siva, two things here. The fees what Titan is charging is currently already shown on the screen, but there is a promo code which is going on. So that makes the fees very, very reasonable. Having said that, for all the past small cases also, there will definitely be revision of the fees in the future. So not a good idea to compare the fees because they have been there for quite some time. But yeah, Sonam can always add some more color to that.
No, definitely. I think, see, like Rakesh said, that, this is a launch pricing and we are offering a very good discount to it. And, we're thinking about, revising some of our small cases upward in terms of price. So, these are all very good prices that are out there. I think we have been talking to our customers that there is a discount going on right now. And you can lock in these prices at a 15% discount across our small cases before the price hike happens. And yeah, I think we are offering a discount on Titan and it would be a good allocation. See, as your portfolio size with this strategy goes higher, right, the price will become insignificant. And I think that is what the call is, right?
Sure. Okay, this is very specific to small case platform. So I'll love to answer this. So Ashish Behera, will there be an issue if someone initiate investing in small case being in India, but relocated to US and continue investing in small case? So Ashish, here, the entire thing depends on the broker with whom you trade. So definitely once you relocate to US, there are some regulations which will require you to update your status with your broker. And if your broker allows, of course, subject to regulations, because every brokerages have their own policies. So if the brokerage allows you to trade, small case will be more than happy to facilitate because every trade you do on small case is actually routed to your broker. So it's on the broker to accept or not accept those trades depending on your updates, what you have given to your broker. So it would be great if you can reach out to your broker if at all you face any problem on the execution. And of course, alternatively, you can always email us on publisher.help@smallcase.com in case if you are facing any difficulty in terms of your execution of your small case trades. I hope that helps. Okay, so there is another, again, a very macro question from Web Scroller as a handle. I think market is ripe for correction. Considering this, how should I plan my big investment that I'm planning and what should be the allocation across your small cases?
Right. See, I think market has seen some volatility. There could be persistent volatility, but I don't think there is a reason for very, very big corrections right now. And right now, like I said, that our allocation is, we are extremely confident of our allocation right now, even if there is a volatility that happens, right? We have shifted to our largest stocks towards undervalued names. We have moved to quality names, and these allocations are going to stand strong. And you can take my word whenever the volatility comes. So in that sense, we are definitely quite positive about it. But obviously, if the volatility comes, it's a great time for us to buy. And I think we will talk about that to our investors, right? Whenever we see that it's a greater time to come back to the market, start buying, then we will be talking about it. So you see, I think, we have a stable outlook right now, and I think the allocation will stand strong. But, if you are looking to allocate across the board, I think, Titan could be a big chunk of your allocation because it's a stable thing which will do well in the longer term, give you a lot of good sleep. But along with it, I always tell people that, momentum is the thing that works best in the market. So why not have some allocation to an alpha or momentum, right? And take that flavor from these allocations, right?
Got it. So we are already on our time of 12, but let's take one or two more questions and then we'll call it a wrap with your closing remarks, Sonam. So one more question which I would like to take. Again, this is a very, very personal question, and I'm sure you can please advise as an investment advisor as well from that perspective. So SHJS is asking, my mother is 77 years old and has a pension of rupees 8.5 lakhs and has no liability. She has 20 lakh ELSS. Now she wants to deploy 20 lakh small case in a staggered manner in next 1 year. What is your suggestion for her?
See, I think for your mother, definitely, you have to have a slightly conservative outlook. So again, I think the Titan could be a good one, or balanced, right, is a very good one for the stable long-term return. So you can go with either of these, and maybe, to give a flavor of slightly better returns. So you can allocate maybe 10 or 20% of the capital into alpha or momentum small cases to give her a flavor of bigger longer term returns also. And see, we meet a lot of people who are retired or near the pension zone, and they want to get a good returns from these portfolios. So typically we would say that maintain your asset allocation, right? Keep some money into debt and some into liquid, so that you get that stability. But definitely have a chunk into equities, and for a more conservative investor, I think a balanced or a Titan would be a good allocation with some flavor of alpha or momentum, right?
Got it. So maybe just to wrap it up, and with this question, in fact, this question gives us enough opportunity to wrap this session as well. So Debashish is asking, hi Sonam, how is the prospect of Alpha Prime compared to New India manufacturing, taking into account and high risk portfolio? So I think this question can be taken, Sonam, in the light of across all your small cases, because at the end of the day, I think every small case of yours has their own merit, depending on the market condition. But as an investor, how one can see this entire platter of your small cases and how one can allocate their investments.
No, I think, see, each of the small case represents something different, right? So, if you are comparing an alpha prime with a new India or alpha prime with another strategy, you have to understand the philosophy behind all of them are different, right? So while a new India would do better if there is that government push that comes in towards manufacturing sector, then that strategy will shine, and that's a thematic strategy. But alpha prime is agnostic of sectors and industries. It is just picking high momentum stocks in a concentrated fashion, and it will do well when the markets are going through a strong rally, irrespective of where that rally comes from. So these are very, very different strategies. And so, I would say that across all our strategies, we have stable allocation that has come up very organically from our systems. And, we definitely have a good outlook, cautiously optimistic outlook from the market. And you can allocate to either of these themes, which fit into your goals.
Sure. I think this was super exciting, Sonam. So with this, I just wanted to thank again all our viewers who have taken out their free time on a Sunday morning to understand the market nuances. And I'm sure this will be a great rocking year for all of us at Small Case. And looking forward to more such events, more such engagement conversations with you as always. And have a great financial year. Have a great investing journey. Sonam, any closing remarks from your side?
Yes,
And
yes.
then we
No,
can-
definitely. I agree with you, Rakesh. We're very excited about the new year. And what I will like to add here is that we have a lot of people here from Bangalore, right, who invest into our small case and who come on the live. So we are coming to Bangalore next week, right? On the 6th, we have a session for all of our small case investors where we can do a face-to-face meeting. And I think it's always wonderful when we meet people face to face, and we can talk about the journey. So I think people will be getting a notification about that meetup. You can sign up and come and meet us and have a face-to-face meeting with us as well. And yeah, I think looking forward to meeting everybody and looking forward to a great year ahead.
Great, great. Thanks a lot, Sonam. And thank you, everybody, once again for joining in. Have a great Sunday. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you, Sonam.